Hello everyone. So in this video, let us go through some of the updates from Atlassian ecosystem. Now, the first update is about the on-demand videos, on-demand series from Atlassian. Now, I'm sure you all remember that last month there was Atlassian Team23 in Las Vegas, and unfortunately, like always, I couldn't go. Anyways, but good thing about Atlassian is that, and I appreciate it by the way, that they do release the sessions on their website. So if you look at this link here, you will find various sessions, and I believe it is always good to watch, if not all, at least some of the sessions here. I highly recommend you to go through at least the keynote, because that is where Atlassian talks about things that are happening, that has happened, and they also give some indication of what we can expect. It could be some updates to existing tools like Jira Service Management, but at the same time they also talk about some upcoming things. And I remember this year Atlassian did mention something about AI. I of course haven't really tried it, but of course I will try it whenever I get a chance and whenever I get access to it. So this link, I'll of course share the link to all these things that I'm talking about in this video. But do take a look at these sessions. And if you remember, I make videos on showcasing various use cases. Now, as part of my job, I have to demo various Atlassian tools like Jira Service Management, using Jira software for Kanban, Scrum, and also at the same time how to use tempo structure for doing those specific things. So as part of my job, I have to demo, because I'm a consultant, and sometimes, not sometimes, but quite often, people want to see a tool, some kind of use case in action before they can try it out. And when it comes to demoing Atlassian tools, it was not really easy, to be honest. And earlier, of course, you had Jira Data Center. And if you are, let us say, trying to do something on your own, maybe you are a consultant, maybe you are trying to become some freelancer, or maybe you are working for a small organization, you may not have access to a lot of resources. And that is where the problem was. That was the problem, not anymore, because now you can actually set up your own Jira Cloud instance very quickly, and you can, of course, spend some time, work on the use case. For example, if my client is interested in looking at, let us say, advanced roadmaps, now I can always sign up for a premium version of Jira, and then I can, of course, demo it to them. Of course, it would be my use case based on the requirements that I have built in the tool. But good thing is that you can actually also take a look at these demos, and these demos are basically, I guess these are recorded, but at the same time, someone will be there to answer your questions. So if you go to atlassian.com/demos, you will find various sessions. For example, the first one is Jira Software in Action, which is, of course, the most common use case. And of course, Jira Service Management. There is also this session on Jira Line. I don't really do anything on Jira Line, apart from, of course, just integrating, or basically, for me as a consultant, I have never really done any Jira Line safe oriented work within Jira Line. Of course, I use Jira, and I think Jira is probably enough if you're trying to implement safe. But I know Jira Line has those capabilities which are more, aligned to scaled agile. Anyways, so if you want to, maybe learn, or maybe in case you are trying to sell Jira to someone, or any of these tools, you can always point them to these sessions and these demos. For example, there is a session on migration, and there is a session on Atlassian Access. So these are really important topics, because if you're on Jira Cloud, you may want to know how your users will be provisioned in Jira. So you can take a look at these sessions, and these sessions To be honest, there are a lot. So, I mean, of course, you will not really have these sessions that are customized to your use case, because when I work with my customers, and if they're trying to do something very specific, which is usually the case, to be honest, except software development, because not even software development, sometimes it is easier for me to demo Jira software project than Jira work management or Jira service management. But Jira service management itself is like very well-defined process, because you try to, whenever a company is trying to implement Jira Service Desk, they are mostly interested in ITSM or ITIL, at least here in the UK or Europe, I guess. But whenever it comes to demos or pre-sales, you have to basically maybe tweak the demo or whatever technical pre-sale demo that you're doing based on their requirements. But I think it is good that we have these sessions that are there, and it may not cover each and every use case, but still, for someone who is totally new to Atlassian tools, it is definitely a great thing. So do take a look at these events, and I believe these events are regular, and you can always sign up free of cost, of course. Now the next update is about Forge, and for developers. So we are actually building Forge app, and we decided to invest in Forge, and of course, that means that we are trying to learn and trying to build something using Forge. We, apart from of course building an app, we are also trying to explore services, because if you are doing something with Atlassian tools, let us say you are doing scripting, or maybe you do some automation work, I think Forge will become script runner, what script runner was or still is on data center. So with the help of Forge, you can of course write apps, but those apps need not to be published, I guess. So you can always build your own app to solve a problem, or maybe for your client. So I normally try to stay in touch with new things that are happening. And recently, I noticed on the developer community that Atlassian announced that they are now going to have some real-time updates to the panel, which is displayed and on the issue. So in fact, in our app, there is a panel, and that can be updated automatically based on some events that you can trigger, I believe, whenever, let us say, there is an issue update. So I have requested for trying it out. So this is like an early access program, and if you're trying to build a Forge app, I believe you need to raise a request for a specific instance of Jira. So I guess you should do it. In case you are developing or thinking of developing Forge app, Atlassian developer community is actually quite good as compared to normal Atlassian community, where most of the questions are not really answered, unfortunately. But Atlassian developer community is a place where you can actually find people are contributing quite regularly, and I quite like that, and it is helpful, because if you're trying to learn something totally new, for example Forge, there is, first of all, Atlassian was never really great in documentation, because they do have some tutorials and examples. With Forge, I think they have realized that if someone is interested in building something using their platform, then you have to help them. You have to give them examples and tutorials, and I think, and this is something that I appreciate about Atlassian. At least for Forge, they are actually, whenever you ask a question, someone will respond to you, and sometimes from Atlassian as well. So do take a look at Atlassian developer community, and especially this update about the panel. The next update is about the Jira software board. Now, this is something that and there are two updates similar to this. One is of course for normal Jira board. Now, if you're looking at the board, and this is again not really always great, but at least there's a way to get around it. For example, if you are looking at any board, maybe you're looking at your board, which is a software board, and Jira Software Scrum board, and you have a backlog view. You also have on top, of course, your roadmap. So if you look at, let us first look at roadmap, because roadmap is the place where you want to plan the work. And in this roadmap, of course, you just have the issues, which is great. But when you are trying to get into the details. For example, let us say this is my task, right? Some task, some issue in Jira. So when you click on it, you can of course see this issue story open on the right hand side, right? Great. Now there is also one more thing which not many people know, and because of course Atlassian always announces these new features, improvements to the UI, but I think for us as a consultant, when we work with our clients, we also have to tell our clients that yes, you can do that. So first of all, and this is a complaint as well from many people, that this view there's so much happening. There's a sidebar, there is of course this backlog. When you click on it, it opens up the panel here, and on the panel here you may not see in the beginning all the fields because that or maybe it will display those fields that are too difficult to navigate because it's like a huge list. And sometimes these fields, and again it's a problem, at least on Jira data center version, you actually can control a lot of these things very easily, which is also the case here, but the view itself is not always straightforward, at least for those people who are new to Jira. Now I can of course collapse my sidebar, and you can do that with the help of this square bracket. But at the same time, if you keep on expanding this, if you want to maybe expand it further, let me just try to do it again, because I don't really think I was able to do it. I think I did it. Maybe this is not working for me right now. Let us open one of the issue. Okay, so this is okay, let me just try to reduce the size. So usually if you try to stretch it on or drag it on the left hand side, this will actually open one more panel on the right hand side, and some of the fields are displayed on that third or fourth column. So there is actually here a way to do it. Maybe I'll open active board, which might, oh no, this is of course going to show each and everything, but you can also control a lot of these things, by the way. And let me just go back to the backlog one more time. So what I was trying to do here is, and this is again not obvious, if you expand it like this, it will actually open the third column. So this is of course not really working for a company managed Scrum board, but if I open the team managed Scrum board, let us open this one. So this is my issue, and if I expand it, you can see here that I am now able to bring in that third column, right? So this is like one more column, and if you compare it with the company managed Scrum board, this is of course not the same, and it is and I don't know why. I understand the need of team managed projects where you want some teams that are working in silos. You want to give them the option to basically create their own configurations. Great, I understand it, but at the same time, there should be some consistency, I believe. So, for example, if you are looking at team managed projects, and maybe in the company, the Jira administrator or Jira consultant like me maybe they have decided to not use team managed projects, because if there are multiple teams working together, contributing towards something similar, or they have common goal, they should all work using same set of configurations, I believe, or at least similar configurations. And some people who come from, or maybe jump from team managed project to company managed projects, they might be confused. So this is great, to be honest. I like this, because if you are working on team managed projects, you will expect this third column to pop up, which is of course not the case. This is of course number one. The other update is that if you are on the team managed project, you can also update your issues. This is amazing. I love this. So login functionality for my app, right? So I can do that. If I go to my normal Scrum board, company managed Scrum board, this is not the case. And this is, I don't know why this is the case. Maybe Atlassian is. I mean these features should be same, right? And also you can, if you're on the team managed project, you can also create the issues on the fly, in between. I think there was an option here. Let me just do that. Okay, another story. So this is great. I love this, and I don't really think you can do that here, which is a shame. But it was I'm not really sure if it was ever possible to do that. Anyways, so this is number one. You can update the summary. You can also in a way change the epic. Great, love this. You can also, let us take a look at the estimate. You can update the estimates. You can also change the status. Amazing. You can also assign it to someone. This is wonderful. And let us see what else we can do. So this is of course the updates that you can do. But to be honest, I think this is great because now you can, it is user friendly. It is definitely much more user friendly. It is of course not really annoying to like switch from one view to another view. And I think this should happen to also a normal Jira company managed Scrum / Kanban projects. So good work Atlassian. I like this. And if you are trying to use team managed projects, again, I would say that be careful because team managed projects are not really the same. And at the same time, you may miss some of the amazing features that you get with a normal Scrum project. But at the same time, I feel sad because these features are not really released on, or maybe I'm sure Atlassian is doing something about it. I hope. And there is also one more thing. So if you want to get some details, and this is by the way not new. I think it was released sometime last week. So there's something called as Insights. If you click on Insights, you will basically get some insights about what is happening. And this is something that you can enable or disable from your, and I believe there are some permissions as well. So if you go to your board, and let's start with the backlog. So there is an insight, and it will basically give you some idea about what is happening in your board. If you also go to the board itself or the active board, you will get this insight, and this can show you like a burn down chart and details. So this is, I think, useful because now you're letting people look at information to understand what is happening, about the progress maybe from the same view. So apart from, of course, you can always go to your dashboard and go to a different report. So this is really good. I like it, and this is definitely useful. And I hope Atlassian keeps on improving these features in Jira. And to be honest, this is Jira software itself, along with Jira's customization capabilities. I think it is probably like one of the greatest tool. Of course, there are alternatives in the market, and I know people are either moving away from Jira Data Center or they have no option. But if you are on cloud, I know cloud is not really like data center, but now of course these features are not there anymore. Not these features, but these new features are only on Jira Cloud, which I appreciate. I guess in the next few years, Jira Cloud will have a lot of those capabilities. And it looks like a modern tool, which is not the case with Jira Data Center. Jira Data Center looks like a tool from 2014. Anyways, so these are the updates from this week, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.